Debbie?
Please do.
Okay, great. Let's just give it, I don't know, a minute. Is everybody here? I'm trying to like screen share on my laptop, so I don't have a lot of viewing.
Monica was going to be joining in virtually.
Okay, we'll just wait like another minute or so then.
This is the hard part with Teams.
I know.
Especially if like you're sharing, because then you can't.
Yeah.
I assume you're covering the 3-part.
Yeah, we've got that. No problem.
Okay. So I'll cover Jason and Plaza.
Actually, I'll pause it, but you can give an update on the status where we're at.
Okay.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and get started. It's 5:30. I'll call this meeting to order. Hold on, let me toggle between all of my screens. First, order of business is roll call.
All right, we have Chair Christine Adams,
Present.
Vice Chair Kate Truesdale.
Present.
Okay. Mark Husbands,
Present.
Monica Johnson is not present. Karen Miller,
Present.
Cody Phelps,
Present.
Stephen Young.
Present.
We have Councilmember Jim Woodward,
Present.
and we have Inglewood School Liaison Gary Manfrey.
Present.
And staff, we have Director Christina Underhill.
Here.
And Open Space Manager Dave Lee. And just a reminder, since we do have so many people virtual, if everybody will remember to have your cameras on, that will show that we have a quorum present at all times.
Sure thing.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Excuse me, there is a copy of the minutes attached, if you all had time to look at those. If we have a motion, if you need to review them, that would be great.
I'll motion to pass as written.
Second?
Second. And Karen.
Thank you. All right, I assume there were no changes given the motion in the second. Do we have any public comment? I don't believe I saw any, but.
We do not.
Okay, great. So we will just continue on to old business. So, Christina.
All right, so we'll give an update on the current park projects we have going on, and I'll have Debbie share we'll do a refresher of everything we're doing. How about? So the first park we're going to show is Cushing, I believe.
Just
Get
to sit down a little. Try and make it where it's kind of, okay.
Oh, Baker. We'll start off with the last one we'll be renovating. So Baker Park, this is the schematic and what we'll be renovating: new playgrounds, new picnic shelter, a new restroom, and a walking path. And the Baker renovation has not started yet. It will start actually June 1st is when they should start mobilizing out there and doing some demo work. This park has some long lead times on some of the products we're bringing out there, and so we don't anticipate the park opening probably until late October or early November. But this is a full renovation, including the irrigation system. So when this park is complete, it'll be done for hopefully a very long time, and hopefully the neighbors are happy with the final results. Any questions on Baker?
I have one.
Yes.
So you said groundbreaking's June 1st, but it'll be done October, November of like the same year?
We'll be mobilizing for construction June 1st.
But then It'll still be
but
done by October or November?
that's the goal. Yeah, we're hoping to have all these completed by the end of this year. Hopefully before, yeah, that's the goal. Granted, supply chain issues have come up and all of that. So we're being very optimistic. Things are looking okay as of right now, but we're very early on in the renovation process on all three of these. So there might be delays we can't quite anticipate as of yet, but yeah.
So, I mean, having this done in less than a year, even if it's next year, is remarkable. So I just wanted to confirm I heard that correctly.
Yeah, 2022, these will all be completed, but that's the hope and the goal.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
On the trees that are the brighter green, are those new trees?
Yes,
Yeah,
those will be
great.
new trees added. So no trees will be removed, new trees will be added. One request that was made from the Baker Park residents was to keep some of that open green space. So like the south end of the park will be pretty open. I think we had a couple trees proposed and a walking path that was going to go to potentially new development or to the old school property. That we removed for now. It's something we can add in the future if whatever that property becomes, we can tie into it.
Yeah, okay.
Following on that, did our new assistant city forester get to help pick the trees, or?
Our forester
No.
picked the trees.
All right.
Yeah, he wasn't on board yet
Yeah.
when we did these plans, so in the future, yes, I'll have some input as well. All right, and the next park is Centennial Park. So they have mobilized at Centennial. Some of the demo has started out there. This one should be opened actually probably by the 1st of October, but we're getting a new playground out there, a new picnic shelter, new restroom facility, ADA access to this area, and a half-court basketball court. So we did reduce the court from a full court to half court here. But I think it'll still serve the community that's down at Centennial well. And the playground, I think I'm the most excited for, because what you see out there now is the most vintage playground maybe in the state of Colorado, if not the nation. It's pretty cool. So again, this is started and should be open by October is the goal. Any questions for Centennial? All right, go to the next one. All right, Cushing's got the most work done. It's been demoed out there. There's no picnic shelter, no restroom. It is flat grounds. They have mobilized on the north half of the parking lot there for the skate park to start install in July. And just a reminder, this park is getting a new picnic shelter, a fitness court where the existing skate park is, a new restroom, and the very much anticipated skate park. So I cannot wait to do the ribbon cutting on this park, because I think we're going to have a big turnout when this park opens. And then also the right turn into and out of the park off of Inca is going to be a big deal. You no longer have to go through the neighborhood. So that should reduce some of the traffic in the neighborhood itself and easier access to the park for everyone.
I have a question about Cushing Park. I was driving by it the other day and I noticed and thought of the mural that we had the kids paint like about a year ago.
Yes.
That's going to be no longer in anything following the renovations, right?
We are not getting rid of it. We are going to try to repurpose it in the park somehow. So we'll keep part of that. That skate park will be dismantled,
Right.
and gone to scrap metal, and whatever mural is on the half pipe there, we'll keep that.
Cool. Yeah, that was what I was thinking, because the kids worked so hard. So I was going to say, if we were going to get rid of it, it would be cool to figure another mural or something out that we could get the community involved in. But that's great to hear. Thank you.
Totally agree. We'll have opportunity for future murals at this park as well. But to me, that mural is new enough and a timestamp in history of our lifetime for the pandemic. We'll keep it around.
Awesome.
Any other questions on Cushing? All right, this is just a reminder what the skate park is going to look like, incorporating the history of Inglewood with the trolley and the bridge for RTD, as well as our old logo, which is skatable. Our new logo is not as skatable according to the skateboarders, rollerbladers, and roller skaters that did show up. So we're excited to put that out there. The new logo will be captured on the half pipe as well. So that'll be incorporated into the design. All right, next slide. All right, I'll let Dave cover Jason. So Jason Park is also under renovation. And we'll give an update during the staff's choice on the dog park piece too.
Regarding the Jason improvements, currently the basketball court concrete has been poured and is in there. There's a very long lead time both on the picnic pavilion and on the restroom. They're indicating that's going to be the end of July before those show up. They're going to pour the footers for the new picnic shelter and then the concrete floor so that that is ready. They're working around the basketball court right now in order to button that up, and then they'll remove the fencing so that the basketball court can be used. And then they'll continue to keep the area surrounding the new restroom and the new picnic shelter fenced off until those areas are completed. So I would think that sometime in August, you're looking at a complete renovation of that area between the new amenities from the grant and the old playground that was a grant a couple of years ago. Questions from anybody?
All right, next slide. All right, so we're going to talk about Little Dry Creek Plaza. So we have phase 1 renovation going on in the creek bed, and I'll let Dave, you want to just talk about what's going on with that one?
This is a project that we're doing in conjunction with Mile High Flood District, and they've chosen their contractor, Naranjo Civil, to go down there, and they are gangbusters right now. They diverted the stream to where you see the grand staircase, and then started jackhammering out all of the old concrete flooring that was in there for the actual pond. That's completed. They've put in the drop structure, those boulders that you see kind of at the base of the stairs as well, and then re-diverted or redirected the stream down through its natural corridor. They've then since removed the rest of the concrete flooring for the pond, and they've also put in some large drain pipes that I'm not sure where they come from, but they actually outlet where the trash rack is supposed to go. So that's finished as well. They hope to bring concrete in, and I think either, well, late would be Friday or early next week to start a few more pours through that area, but they're moving quite rapidly through that area. Questions from anybody?
Have there been any discussions? I know the DDA is just getting up and running, but have there been any discussions with the DDA or the chamber or any the business community about this? I know this is all like just things that we need to like tie up before we can actually do anything like inclusive of the community, but have they been involved in this process at all?
Yes, they have been involved in this process. We did a show for them, a demonstration, and asked them for some feedback through this. So the Downtown Development Authority's been involved in it, and also the community bank has weighed in on this project as well.
That's great. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, like, you know, as we are considering the DDA and the development of downtown and the aesthetics and the family friendliness and the safety, that they're included in this particular project, because I think that this is a project of high safety needs that could make or break some of downtown for us. So thank you. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, and I think to reiterate what they said and you just said as well, lighting and safety were the two biggest components that they really wanted to make sure gets taken care of, so that when people are down there, particularly in the evening, that everybody feels safe in that area.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That leads into what you're seeing on the screen, which is some concepts that are put together for phase 2. And this one's called the Downtown Connection. And it's Go to the next slide real quick. It zooms in a little bit on some of the areas. So the upper plaza, or the plaza that special events have been in the past, that's where these hoops would be. And these are all lit up with LED lights that can be changed different colors depending on the season, or just white light for to brighten up the area. There's seating areas along the edges that are lit up underneath. And what they're showing in the bottom right corner is you can bring a food truck in there. It's open enough to have special events or gatherings of any kind, and kind of liven up this area, make it a destination for the businesses downtown, as well as people coming into Inglewood for whatever it may be. So that's one of the concepts. So far, this concept has the most votes, I guess you could call it, for people liking it. There's been some tweaks made, and we'll bring some of those final concepts to you once we have those in hand. But go ahead to the next slide. So this is the second one. It's called Wooded Nook, and it incorporates the creek itself into the design with some frogs and lily pad shelters that provide shade. So this one doesn't have as much traction, but we're trying to incorporate some of the elements of this into the previous one that the business owners have said they really liked, staff has really liked, other residents that have been involved in the process have pointed out. So go to the next one. So you can see this is looking at that upper plaza where those green hoops were. We did ask, you know, could the frogs somehow be incorporated maybe down by the creek to bring some attention to the creek area. The creek is going to be a lot like Bellevue Park, where you can get down, touch the creek, get into the water itself. The grand staircase will lead to it. There's going to be some trails leading to it. It's fully accessible through ramps and other things. So this concept won't necessarily move forward, but you can see kind of through the design process some of the ideas that have come about. And like I said, probably in July, we may have closer to final design for what phase 2 would look like. Our plan was to roll into phase 2 as soon as phase 1 was done, but phase 1 is going so quickly that there'll probably be a little bit of a lag time between the two projects. But we'd like to get at least phase 2 and maybe phase 2 and 3, phase 2 done by the end of next year if possible. So 2023.
This project also encompasses the corner up there at Broadway and Hamden 285. There used to be a fountain up on the northwest corner. One of the aspects from this design were these cattail lights that they want to put into that area. And we'd kind of like to incorporate that maybe in some other areas in the design as well. We thought those were pretty cool lights.
Yeah, and again, the goal is safety, really lighting this area up so it's welcoming at night and deters people from loitering that shouldn't be there and vandalizing and all those other things. And so, but, you know, this is a fun proposal, and like I said, we'll have something probably in July for you all to review and look at.
Funding on that, will the partner we have now be involved in that also?
That's the goal, and that's why we've involved them early on in this decision-making process. And so hopefully they can also have some buy-in and provide some funding for some of these elements as well. I know, talking to Hillary Patel and others, that they really like, what's the street right north there? Acoma. Doing some overhead street lighting, like the string lights, to really draw people off of Broadway back into this area and just tie this whole lit area up into what Broadway is and those businesses. So there's a lot of excitement around this project, and it should happen fairly quickly once we have the design in place.
That's great.
I have some comments, but I just want to poll the group and see if there's anybody who has any comments or questions before I dive in. All right.
I was just going to ask on the second one. Sorry, Christina.
Nope. Go ahead.
On the second one, I was noticing, is there intention to allow kind of a similar access issue with the area with the food trucks from the west side? I wasn't really seeing that. It kind of makes sense that you're kind of walling it all, but wasn't sure if, you know, with the business side access, whether, you know, you'd want to drop a smaller area on the side. Did I see something over there? Did I miss it? Or, okay.
I don't think it's on.
I don't think this one incorporated food trucks into it.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure on that side, like, whether that portion of the parking lot, is that considered public parking, or is that owned on that side, as to whether you'd have to sort of free up some area within the park, or whether, it's sort of just, if a food truck wants to roll up there, at 5 o'clock, whether it's, public or not, if they can just do it. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, so this particular design incorporates the bollards on the parking lot side. The parking lot is technically part of the development there. It's sort of private, I guess you'd
The
call it.
marketplace.
The marketplace.
Yeah.
So the bollards that are on, you can kind of see those dots. Those can be removed for a food truck to pull in there.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, so my two questions are, I remember seeing some of these designs pre-COVID, so it had to have been at least 3 years ago. Are these consistent with the designs that we saw in like the city manager's conference room that one time, that 1 year, 1 million years ago? Or are these new? Because I clearly just don't remember.
They have changed slightly.
Okay.
Similar concepts of renovating that large plaza area, and then the upper plaza close to Acoma. So that's part of it. The same designer from a few years ago did these as well. So they weren't starting from scratch when they created these new designs, but trying to incorporate our wayfinding and placemaking a little bit more into the new design.
No, that's great. I was like, I don't remember this, and I feel like I should have. So that's great. My other question is, I know this isn't like our responsibility, but I do know that that area right now is a gathering place for a lot of those who are unhoused. And while we go through this, we will be displacing some of those folks. That's being just very politically correct here. Have we thought about what those impacts would be throughout the city?
That's a very good question. And technically right now we've probably displaced some due to some of the fencing that has been placed up, and
Right.
the fence may stay up for a bit of time here. The goal is to activate this space differently than what you experienced today or probably in the last year, and activate it with a different use. And so, yes, I think that's a challenge that all cities are facing of, we get homeless camps at like Cushing, and then we move them and they go somewhere else. And so it's hard to know where they will go. The city is doing a lot, and the Tri-Cities are doing a lot for the homeless resources and to help individuals who do want to be helped get off the streets. So there's a lot of motion right now. It's hard to say at this very time what that's gonna look like.
No, that's fine. I just want to keep that top of mind and like make sure that the DDA like can talk, at least is aware, as I'm sure they are. But we've got those issues in our city, and this is one of those areas that they've really like kind of moved into, and certainly the new construction has moved a lot of them out. But I just drove by like 20 minutes before this meeting, and there's still like a good majority of the unhoused there. And so we just need to keep in mind like where they're going to go next.
Yep, for sure. I appreciate that. Yep.
Christine, that upper area, above the grand staircase is still open to the public, and that's where I see the unhoused hanging around. I was down there the other day. There were 4 of them in that area, and some are actually overnighting in that area. There's cardboard and sleeping bags and all of that. The police and code enforcement are routinely patrolling that area as well.
Thank you, Dave. I love hearing that. I mean, I don't want to displace anyone. However, like I've said before, so maybe I shouldn't be saying this as a chair anymore, but like as a single woman, I never felt comfortable like riding my bike down that way at night because of some of the issues that accompanied that space. So I love that we're activating it. I love that there's an opportunity for kids to get their feet in the water and to play around. Like I love this design and this concept so much. However, I do want to think about those people who will be displaced, even though I love everything that's going on here and where they may end up in our city. And that is not maybe for this particular discussion, but it's just something to keep in mind in my perspective. That's it. I know.
I have a question kind of about the area. So can we, like the food truck thing, I think that's really fun and really cool. And I think there's a lot we could do with that. So one question I have is, I know that like if people wanted to like have a food truck, yeah, if we could go back to the slides. If you want to have a food truck like at like the park, you would have to get a permit or something. If we went with the design that had like the food truck bays, would that be like something that families or groups of people could like rent out this area as like a shelter and then like have their food truck come and like do it as like an event space too?
Yeah, and that's been definitely considered and thought about, that this could be, you know, for weddings or private events, possibly, just like we.
Graduations, things
Yeah.
like that, yeah. And then that would
Yeah.
be like, I mean, you could, you know, probably make some money that way too. And we need all the money we can get, so. Cool.
Yeah, very good.
Well, I like that one, by the way, if you didn't notice.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we're happy to take feedback. We're still early in the design process to.
And I really love the idea of the lights and like different colors, thinking about like, you know, the Avs are playing. Like if we could light it up to be like excited about what's going on, I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, LED lights. The biggest comments I think that we had were, you know, vandal proof and lit up. So you can have a lot of different uses, and then also be able to dim the lights too. If you were to do an event out here and you want kind of ambient lighting, that'd be another option. With LEDs, it's amazing everything they can do now. So this is a cool option for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
You know, we used to do the Thursday evening shows down there prior to the city center being renovated. So it was active and the parking lot would fill right up. And I never heard any complaints from any retailers because it brought in so much business.
Yeah.
So it was a fun place.
We want to make it fun again.
Yeah.
I'll sign up for fundraiser there
Perfect. Okay. Good.
Yeah, that'd be a good
for the
place.
Education
Yeah.
Foundation.
All right.
Will the designer be able to do any like mock-ups of like what an event might actually look like in the space? Purely from my perspective, I love the lights, but also real event planners love just blank space.
Right.
And so like, I just see a lot of obstructions. It looks really cool. Like there's always that balance you gotta strike of. It's not just an event space.
Yeah, that's definitely something I thought. Like this, on the bottom right, you can see kind of an open space, and they've laid it out that way, thinking about events. If you were to have a stage set up or a band performing or a wedding or whatever, how does that layout look? I'm not sure. We can ask if they can do a basic mock-up.
Just sometimes it's really, especially when we're building new, it's important to actually design it to where we can use it. I've worked in so many parks where we are just trying to make it work in the space, and the biggest thing is electrical, and not having to bring in generators, and then just actually having adequate space to put up tents and tables.
And keep in mind that area still is where the bike trail kind of terminates.
Yeah.
So it goes all the way to Clarkson, and there are a lot of people that either walk or bike that area. And then those loops, they assured us that down at the base, they'd probably be about 12 feet wide, so we can get a plow truck or emergency vehicle through there in case there's access needed.
Do we still have our show wagon, Parks and Recreation?
We do.
Yes.
And that will fit in there. If we want to bring it up. Yep. All right, any other questions or comments?
I have a quick question. The engineer down there, the waterway, are they removing the Fabri dam that's down there and the spillway that goes out?
The Fabri dam failed a number of years ago and could not be repaired or replaced. So that's when the decision was made, just like what Christine was saying. That was when the decision was made, go away from the pond and try to open this space up to get more people down in there.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's continue on to joint city council boards, commissions, and committee meetings.
Yeah,
Christine.
this will be quick. Thank you for those who were able to make it to the joint board and commission council meeting that we had last month. But yeah, any of you that were able to make it out, any feedback you have, this is the first time we tried to present all the capital improvement projects, all the tier 1 level capital. We have 3 tiers of capital projects. And any feedback you all have on that. Also, the email that was sent out by, I think Debbie, you sent that out to the commission. Anything you've got, we would be happy to take your feedback to plan for next year and future meetings. It would be similar. So, if you don't have any today, and you think of something, send it on over to Debbie and she'll just collect that information and share it with our finance and city manager's office.
Great, thank you. Any comments on this before I move on? Alrighty, new business, volunteer appreciation event.
Yeah, we're excited for this. So this actually falls on our June board meeting night. So we will be meeting at Pirates Cove. Brad Anderson will be there to give some updates about Pirates Cove. And then you'll be able to attend the event that starts at 6:30. So I believe that's June 9th, Thursday, June 9th. Our meeting will be at 5:30. The event will be at 6:30. So, invite your family, spouses to come out to this event.
I have a question. Does this mean that we're having our event in the lazy river? Or our meeting in the lazy river?
It's all up to you. Yes, we totally could. There's no rules.
If I go in there in person, I will have an 18-month-old who will refuse to not be in the water, so I will probably be in there either way.
I seriously, you guys, if you didn't go last year, I think last year was the first year we did it at Pirates Cove, maybe?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. And an adult in a lazy river at a kid's it's amazing. It's just great. Like, I don't have kids, so I gotta go, and it was wonderful. So I encourage everybody to come, regardless of the meeting or not. Like, just come to the lazy river, but come to the meeting as well. All right. Staffing update.
Yeah, so speaking of Pirates Cove, we'll start there. We are having issues hiring lifeguards. We have 37 lifeguards. We need 80 to open. So we are moving some things around. I did send an email to the city manager's office this afternoon. Right now, we're tentatively going to delay starts opening day to June 4th. So delay it 1 week to try to get more staff out there, also get them trained. So lifeguards need, looks like, I'm trying to find the note Brad sent me. I think it's almost 40 hours of training. It's 3 days in the pool itself and then about 10 hours of online training that they have to do before they can sit on the chair in lifeguard. And so with only 37, and about half of those have been trained, we need to continue to hire and train those staff. And so delaying the opening of Pirates Cove is what we're looking at doing. It's not official yet, but it's definitely on the table. Just for safety reasons, we need to have more staff on board. We have canceled some of our aquatics classes, some the summer morning learn to swim lessons at the rec center and at Pirates Cove have been canceled to try to move some of those lifeguards and staff to hours of operation when we'll actually be open for Pirates Cove. And then we've also, sorry, Jim, I think canceled the deep water classes at Pirates Cove as well, just due to the shortage of lifeguards. So this is not an isolated issue at Pirates Cove. This is across the nation. Many pools across the Front Range are either not opening this summer, they have modified hours. I know Denver is not opening quite a few pools this summer due to that. So it's a weird situation. We were more stressed, I thought, during COVID, but this is worse. So if you know anybody that wants to be a lifeguard, we are recruiting heavily right now. We did have a job fair last weekend at the ERC trying to recruit people. We did have a few parents show up for that one, looking for their kids. We did get, I think, one lifeguard out of that. Brad Anderson at Pirates Cove has done a great job reaching out to athletic directors kind of in the area, trying to recruit some of the student athletes at the high schools and community colleges to see if we can get them the lifeguard. We are doing a stipend program. So if any of the, like, if we get football players from Inglewood High School and it's $15 per player, we'll give a stipend to the school for the athletic program as a donation. If we have lifeguards that recruit their friends, they get the stipend. So we're trying to do something. $15 isn't a lot, but it goes up to $250 max. So recruit away and share that. So the other issue we're having is with camp counselors for our summer camp at the school, actually. ERC's been recruiting heavily. We've only got 2 people that have come on board for the summer camp, in addition to full-time staff. So we have technically 3 full-time staff members that can run summer camps. It is a licensed program, so there's some additional requirements that we need. Our summer camp typically has 90 kids in it. We've already closed registration at 45, and if we're able to get staff, we'll open registration up. We are finding we had a pretty significant wait list as of last weekend, but we are finding that wait list is starting to shrink because parents are desperately looking for other places to send their kids. I don't blame them, but it's just a weird situation we're in. And so we're also looking for camp counselors as well, but that's going to impact just the number of kids we can have in our camp because it's licensed. So those are the 2 big ones. Farm and Train's doing okay. We had 1 train driver who retired, but we have found a new train driver. So that shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, it's a weird situation with not being able to hire summer staff.
Yeah, that's.
Christina, are the camp counselor positions temporary? They're just summer positions?
They're just summer positions. They're seasonal positions.
Okay.
So
I
hourly
have
rate.
some in-laws who are coming out for the summer.
Perfect. Send them our way. We'll hire them. Yeah, actually, if you go to the Inglewood HR site, all the job postings are on there, and we're going to keep them active for probably most of the summer because we'll take people as they come in so we can adjust. The challenge
Okay.
with Pirates Cove is last year, a lot of the kids about July timeframe started saying, oh, I forgot I'm going on vacation with my parents for a week. And so we had kids starting to drop off like end of July into August, and we're supposed, the plan is to be open through Labor Day or up till Labor Day. And so we may be still hiring and training staff through the summer as they come in. So,
I was wondering if there was a revenue argument to make between basically shifting people from the Inglewood Rec Center to Pirates Cove for the summer, just from a standpoint of keeping it open, and that's where more of your revenue is in the summer.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I think there's some benefits to keeping, we may adjust hours at the rec center some to move some of the lifeguards, and we're working through that right now of figuring out what that's going to look like as well. Because Pirates Cove is only 3 months we're open, but there's also others that use the rec center that can't be outside in the sun, or they need a different setup and a pool for some of the exercise classes. So we're trying to find that balance to serve the majority of our community as best as possible.
For the lifeguards, you say they have like the training with all of that stuff. So I was a lifeguard and it was like my favorite job ever. So I'm really surprised that more kids aren't doing this. It's like
Right.
They're crazy. But like, so is the training at Pirates Cove to work at that pool, is that like in addition to like their certification to become a lifeguard? Or are you training people that there?
Correct. So there's the basic Ellis and Associates training for all lifeguards, and then Brad and his team train specific to the site as well. And so you get trained to be a lifeguard, general lifeguard, and then you come out to the site and you do in-pool trainings, on-site trainings.
So I'm like wondering like why people aren't wanting to get this summer job. Like, do we think it's like maybe they don't have money to pay for like certification? Like, I know it was kind of expensive.
We pay for all of that. That is covered by us. So there's no excuse on that end. We don't know why kids aren't wanting the job, because yes, lifeguarding is the cool job.
What
You get
does
a
it pay?
tan, like read a book, you hang out. It's the best. There, people need to.
You sound like
Have you guys,
you were
so you're like
reading a
talking
book
to
on
this.
the job, huh, Kate?
No, like you go and you do your rotation, and then you have to sit down. You take your 30 minutes. You get to read your book, and then you go back up and work on your tan, and then that's job. That's really surprising to me. I wonder where else we could get kids from.
So I'm sorry, I'm interjecting into whomever was speaking in the room, but when I was a lifeguard and a water safety instructor, I got college credit for it, and so I didn't have to do like any of like my PE or my health requirements when I went to college. So I did it when I was like in 9th grade, which to me was like in junior high at the time. It wasn't high school yet. Because I was 16. That's a whole thing. But I wonder if like Arapahoe Community College or something, if there's like a program where we could do like some college credits, because that was a huge thing for me where I was like, oh, I can like skip ahead in college for this. That would be great.
Yeah, we have talked about that. In fact, for the high school level too, of like summer school credit, can you maybe get that? We won't be able to accomplish that this year because it's too late in the game. We had no idea this was going to be this big of an issue. But definitely for next year, we're already talking about how do we partner with the schools and the community colleges to try to get the students to want to work, maybe getting credit or whatever that looks like. Volunteer hours, I don't know. The high school kids need those too. So Jim was asking about hourly wage. So it's $14.50 to $16 an hour, and many of the ones we're hiring we're bringing it in already at the 15+ rate. I don't think we have any starting at the $14.50 currently, just to try to entice kids to come in. We've also talked about bonuses for if you make it through the whole season to get a stipend. So an additional paycheck at the end of the season they'll get as well. So yeah, we are
Christina,
open
it
to
sounds like
any
there are
ideas.
2 board members who are volunteering to be part-time lifeguards.
Yeah,
To have the certification.
Ready to go.
I'm gonna have to fuck up. I haven't been a lifeguard in a long time, but I can do it.
Most of our pools, you can just put your feet down and you're okay.
I would do it. I mean, the best job.
It was the best. It was the best job. You got a tan.
Yeah, me and my friends who were lifeguards, we talk about it every single time we see each other. We're like, oh, do you remember when we were lifeguards? The good old days. Right?
That's why we are very surprised we're not getting applicants, because everybody I've ever talked to that was once a lifeguard says exactly what you're saying. Best job ever.
Even I'm thinking like, so what about like people that are retired and like swim at the rec center, like swim laps or something? Like, would they want a summer job? I don't know.
I'll say yes, we have asked, but to sit in the sun for, 5 hours or whatever, some people are like, I've already had some skin cancer bouts and I'm a little too old to be a lifeguard on the chair.
I get that.
But yeah, we're getting desperate. So we are asking a lot of people, hey, are you interested? So Christine and Kate.
I like suntans.
This is your official offer.
CPR.
Right.
Okay.
Are there any other comments, anecdotes, anything on this subject before we move on?
I have one other question. So right now, it's just the first session that is canceled?
For the deep water class?
Well,
for
for all the classes,
If our staffing situation improves as the summer goes, we'll definitely look at opening classes back up. But as of right now, we just don't have the staff to do the instruction or the lifeguarding for those classes. So it's a fluid situation, and it'll change. I'm hoping it gets better, not worse. Like I said, last summer, kids were dropping off as the summer went. So we were getting stressed towards the end. Now we're stressed at the beginning because we don't have enough staff. So yeah, we'll keep you updated how everything's going each meeting, and you'll get to see it live in person on June 9th.
Yeah.
You'll see Christine and Kate on the chairs out there.
With a book.
With a book, yeah.
No, we're in the lazy river in a tube with our book.
You're monitoring. You're following the crowd in the lazy river and keeping an eye on it.
It's called scanning. You're scanning, not monitoring.
Okay. I have so many comments for this, but I'm not gonna, I will refrain. Again, feel free if there are any more comments regarding this issue. If not, we will move on to Broken Tee Concessionaire.
All right, so Broken Tee, we do have a concessionaire. We have contract in place. We were supposed to open on the 10th. Unfortunately, Sheridan's requiring some additional inspections. And so our new concessionaire is running into some challenges trying to open. He was going to open and just have like a limited menu, so we actually had food at the course. But Sheridan is delaying that process just due to some of the required inspections. They're treating this as a brand new facility, which we know it's not. But we're having to go through that process, and he's being very patient, and we appreciate all the golfers who are being very patient in the process as well. But we do not have opening date as of yet, just because of these inspections that must occur. But he's also working on the liquor license process too. That could take a couple months to get, if not longer. And so it's all in process. And we're all being very patient, but very excited with the concessionaire. He's the owner of Wood Paddle Pizza in Aurora, and Dave and Shannon, our golf course manager, went out and had some of the food, and we're very impressed. We won't necessarily have pizza at the course, but he's got some really good ideas and fun menu items that I think will be different than what we've experienced. And he's been in the restaurant industry since he was a kid, so he's got the experience, and that's what we were most impressed with from a longevity standpoint. We want somebody that's going to be in this location for a long time and serve our golf community well as the community. I think this may be a destination restaurant once it gets up and going. So we will have a meeting out there eventually, and hopefully he'll be open and we can try him out.
That would be great. Again, I will just offer my help on this. If you, even though I don't work in this industry anymore, but liquor licenses should not take that long. Even in Denver, they don't take that long if you have all your stuff together. So I'm happy to assist if needed.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think he's done a couple at this point. I think right now, even through special events processes that we've been dealing with, the liquor, at the state level, it's a 6 to 8 week process is what they're saying. It could be expedited, but I think at this point, we're just kind of planning worst case scenario is going to be maybe end of July or early August when we have a liquor license in place. But if it's earlier, that'd be excellent. We have a lot of golfers that would like to have a few drinks to help their game.
Yeah, let me know. I'm happy. I'm just offering it. I'm happy to help like expedite that, because I think that would really, every time I drive by, and ever since, I mean, even when I started at the commission, but even pre-COVID, and then during COVID, it's been such a draw, and I think our numbers have gone up because it's like something people can do. And people who golf, I do not golf, like to drink while they golf. So I'd be happy to help if
Appreciate that.
Christine, I'll pass that on to Shannon
please
as
do.
well, and we'll get that information to Jared.
Please do. Thank you.
You said it was the guy's Wood Paddle Pizza?
Yes.
Yeah, Wood Paddle Pizza in Aurora. And then he's also got a wing place too.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, so.
I'm on their website. The food looks really good.
Yeah. We're excited. Again, it probably won't be pizza as of yet, although he is looking at options of how to do that. So
Oh, very
we
fun.
might have pizza maybe one day.
They have a huge pizza oven over at his store, and there probably isn't necessarily the room for that kind of equipment at the golf course currently.
Any other comments on the concessionaire? Okie dokie, let's move on then, please. Staff's choice. Let me figure out who's all here.
Christina and Dave.
And Debbie.
Oh, well, there we go. And I know, Debbie, you're first. Always
I'm
you're
perfect.
first,
Thank you for asking, but I don't have any.
but you're always first. And Dave, do you have any updates for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to continue down on the adjacent park. We are looking at opening the off-leash area next Wednesday. That's the earliest we can get the temporary fencing down. So we feel confident that with all of the horticultural applications that we put out there, that the area is ready. The actual permanent off-leash fence is up that separates the playground from the dog area. The off-leash area is there. We have the temporary fence materials. Those will go in next Monday and Tuesday. And then we do have 2 areas out there that we're going to completely fence off that still haven't taken very well. And unfortunately, one of those areas is about the 50-yard line on the athletic field. So we're going to look at putting T-ball out there for this summer and try to get that field grown in and healthy moving forward. So maybe we can have some events out there, sporting events in the fall.
And just a reminder, the hours are 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And so the T-ball is going to be Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7 on the multi-use field. And we'll put out some A-frames like we had to do at Duncan for some of the soccer that we had going on out there, just to let people know it is a reserved space, which means off-leash is technically not supposed to be in that space. We are going to leave the temporary fence up. There are 2 gates that lead to the multi-use field. And so people can still access the multi-use field when there's no programs going on to extend and spread out the off-leash area some.
Anything else, Dave?
That's really it. Thank you.
Any questions about Jason, y'all? All right, then Christina.
Celebrate Inglewood was this last Saturday over at Denny Miller Field and the police station. We had about 500 people come out for the event. Lots of different vendors and city booths were set up, and it was touch a truck, and we were able to do a silent 30 minutes prior to the event kicking off for anybody that wanted to come out, and the sensory hour, as we call it. So it was a fun event. Hopefully some of you were able to just stop by and walk through, but so that was this last Saturday. We do have a market coming up on the 21st, and you can get a list of all of our upcoming events if you go to the website and just put /events in. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. I had no idea that you did that 30-minute sensory time, and I just thank you so much for that. I think that's so important for so many communities, and so thank you for doing that. I don't know who did that. I'm just going to give you all credit because I'm chairman of this commission.
It actually started with Dave Lewis from Code Enforcement. He has a special needs son, and he was the one that a couple years back said, hey, let's do this. We have a lot of great nonprofits in the community that serve that population, and they were also there and provided input and activities as well. So we'll continue to do that at many of our events.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Commissioner's Choice. Gary, I will just start with you, although I don't know if you're like staff or commissioner. We'll just wing it.
Nothing here. Christine, thank you. It's
Great.
good to see you all.
Yeah, you too. Mark.
Nothing for me. Thanks.
Kate.
I do have one question. So I remember I think I remember actually from our meeting last week, did you say that the park ranger has left us once again? Or was that, I didn't see it in my notes, but for some reason I feel like I remember that being said.
She hasn't left us necessarily. She has been reassigned to the code enforcement group. So she's still with us. I meet with her regularly on Thursday mornings to talk about what issues I see in the parks or what she finds out there. So all of code enforcement continues to, make stops or patrols or answer calls in the parks. I know that code enforcement manager Lewis is working on getting us a new park ranger. He's been in that process for a while. The first one didn't work out on a background check, and he's hoping that this next one he can bring on board and get trained and up and running before the end of the summer.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I couldn't remember if it was like someone like left again, and I was gonna say, is something going on there? But if that person just transitioned and we're gonna refill.
Yeah, one of the code enforcement officers took a job out of state, which created a void, and Stacy decided that she wanted to move over to the code enforcement end of things.
Awesome, thank you. That's all I had.
Thanks, Kate. Steven, did I ask you already?
I'm good.
Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. Cody.
I don't have anything. Just stay safe out in the parks as it's getting hot. So.
And sorry, Jim, I may have forgotten you with like staff. Did you have anything, Jim?
No, not as far as parks, just update on a couple items.
Okay. Go
The
ahead.
single hauler trash seems to be a dead deal at this point as of Monday night. In the Celebrate Inglewood, I was planning on going there for a half hour, and about an hour and 45 minutes later, I left.
Oh.
So it was really successful and really good. I really enjoyed it. So
Oh, good.
that's it.
Thanks, Jim. Karen, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. My only comment is I have received like a handful from just random people, some input about Bates Logan Park, knowing that we're going to be redeveloping that and, and whatnot, about maybe developing some sort of joint. And I can get into like the actual like design details at another time because it's real nerdy. But like some sort of like bocce, croquet, lawn bowling situation, where maybe like folks could rent the equipment from Mally or the rec center or the library or whatnot. The maintenance is none. Depending on, there are a couple of different options you could do. So I just wanted to put that, just because I've heard it from so many people at different times, I just wanted to put that on the list of options for Bates Logan, because I know that there are some dead spaces that could be activated and that wouldn't need to be maintained. So I just wanted to put that out there, and that's all I have.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Go ahead, Kate.
I was just gonna say, I love the idea of bocce courts because we play in our backyard all of the time, but it's lumpy. So if we had a nice flat area. Yeah.
Correct, right. I mean, I know like this is nerdy, but I know people who own their own like bocce sets. So it's like you had somewhere to go. Right. Yeah. Like I because people have been telling me like, can we do this here? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
My spiel.
And they do have one in Wash Park, I know, but it's like pretty old. So if we had something that was newer and nicer.
Yes, so I will comment on that because that was my world. It is over 100 years old. It is run by two clubs, the lawn bowling club and the croquet club. So they take it very seriously, and something that could be very casual drop-in is totally easy and affordable in Inglewood. And I actually consulted them on this when these comments got brought up. So just putting that as a suggestion for slogan.
Even more reason to do it, I think.
Well, it's great you bring that up because there's one part of the strategic plan that we'll discuss at a future meeting where Parks is being tasked with like turf conversion to either native areas, but this type of area would be artificial turf, which is non-irrigated, all that. So I like how you're all thinking, and this is good feedback. So as we move forward with kind of part of the 2023 bond and some of the master plan updates that we're going to be doing, these are things we're looking at. So I appreciate that. And think about that for all the meetings we have coming up too, just some of your feedback. Probably in July, we'll have some of the update for the master plan for you to review and give input on.
Great. Thank you, Christina.
Christine, another area that might be suitable for too would be at Cushing. We have some horseshoe pits
Yeah.
that are going to go by the wayside. And that
Yes.
area might be a good place for bocce ball.
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly think, and maybe maybe it's just because I've heard it from so many different sources, like the more the better. Like if we're not going to use that space, let's make it a multi-use space that people can do multiple things at. And whether they have to like check out, if they don't have their own equipment, they check it out at the library and they learn about library resources, or Malley Center and they learn about, whatever it is. Like, I don't know. I'm very interested in this idea about using that space for multiple things and then engaging people into the programs that we already have as well. So thank you. I love it. That being said, I don't have anything else. Does anybody have anything before I adjourn the meeting? Okay, great. Meeting adjourned.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a great week. See you later.
Thanks all.
Have a great evening.
Shut down.
Mine didn't, but
I saw the thing coming.
perfect. Well, that was her.